Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. Today I'm going to share with you these sublimation organization bins. So for these you can sublimate on the top, you can sublimate on the front. For this one I even experimented a bit and sublimated on the back. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for these. They were tricky and not in the way I expected, in an unexpected way. So I thought one part was going to be tricky and it turned out a different part was. And I did try several different presses with this, and that is going to be important because I found a press in my craft room that didn't work for these blanks at all. This blank wouldn't fit in there. And yes, these do break down so you can sublimate them, but this blank would not fit in one of my presses. So I wanted to show you that as well, just so you're aware, when ordering something like this, you do want to check those measurements. So let's dive in first of all and take a look at the supplies we're going to use for this one. You'll need heat resistant tape, a lint roller, protective paper, heat resistant gloves. You'll need your sublimation prints, which we will talk about how to design and print in a few minutes. You will need a heat source, which is not shown. You just want something that will cover your entire tote as well as apply about medium pressure. And then you will need your sublimation blank. So this is a sublimation tote. It looks really flat right now, doesn't it? Let's take a closer look at this tote and how it works. The sublimation tote will come in a package that looks like this. And so you'll go ahead and open this package. And I did want to note that I purchased the smaller size, which is approximately 11.8 by 11.8 by 11.8 inches. There is a larger size for this. However, if you want this to fit in like a divided cube type of shelf, then be sure to measure your shelf before ordering. So you will have this folded piece that is your bottom cube portion, and then inside of here there is a piece and it has a little handle and you'll pull that out. So this will be the bottom of your cube, and then this top is all one piece. We can set that top aside. And for this bottom piece you can sublimate the front as well as the back. Be sure to go ahead and set it up and check where the opening is so you will know which is the front and which is the back. And the black piece that you took out of the inside of the top, that will go in the bottom after you get this sublimated in order to make this a full box. And then you will put the top on here. Now you do need to disassemble this bottom portion in order to press it. So you will set that black piece, just set it to the side and go ahead and fold this back up. Now they say that the front, the back, as well as the top is sublimatable. Why do they say that? Because this portion you will need to sublimate it all folded up. When you fold it up, you only have access to the front panel as well as the back panel. You don't really have access to the bottom or the sides. Now, could you fold this out? Could you use a mini press on this side and do some tricks? Possibly. I will not be doing that in this video. I'm actually only going to sublimate on the front because that's all that's going to be shown within my cube divider. So I'm going to sublimate on the front of this as well as the top of this, just to make sure that you can. This top is very sturdy. It's padded. It's very sturdy. However, I just want to make sure that this sublimation will work on this top portion. I have no doubt that you can sublimate on both the front and the back. Now, this product is their Sublilinen, which is a very nice product. However, it is an off-white, creamy tan color, so be sure you're aware of that before purchasing. And then the dimensions on the website are for the fully assembled box, which I did check and it will go into my cube organizers. And now we are going to take a look at the designs I made for what I'm going to sublimate on here. And I did want to say that I did that using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, because that almost, with this lid on, almost covers the front. So even with just a regular size printer, you can just about cover this front. And then after you see the labels, you'll understand, but I'm just gonna add sort of the graphics to the top just to make sure that this top will sublimate, and then just for like a fun additional touch. So now that you've seen the totes, let's head to Canva and make our designs. In the description below this video, I am linking to a free Canva template. When you open it, you'll find several different files that I've designed. Now, I designed these to fit on an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of sublimation paper. And I designed them for a variety of craft room things. So you can change these up. You can double click and change the text on any of these. You could add different images by going to the Elements tab. And for any of the elements that I have on here, you can also change the colors if you would like. I'm going to use 2 of these. I'm going to use the tumblers and leather blanks for my 2 example projects, but I have several different ones designed for you, and feel free to use them just as they are or change them up to fit your needs. Now, can you use these bins for things that are not craft supplies? Absolutely. So feel free to design your own labels similar to this for things around your home as well. When you get everything just how you want it, go ahead and download it to print. I liked to download as a PDF for print using CMYK, and you can also pick just the pages that you want. So let's say I just want to print the tumblers and leather blanks. I can do that and go ahead and click download, and then print on your Sublimation printer using Sublimation ink on Sublimation paper. You do want to be sure to mirror these before printing. So this first tote, I'm going to make it for tumblers. I'm going to use the same design, and I'm going to put it on the front as well as the top. So for the front, I'm going to just go ahead and lint roll this off, and I'll locate my design. Now, you do need to take into account that this top sits on here and comes down from the bottom. So if I sort of put this on here, I can kind of get an idea where this is, and I can go ahead and locate this print. So I won't have it all the way to the top, if that makes sense. So I'm going to locate it where I want it and go ahead and tape that into place. And then I would absolutely triple check and make sure that your opening is here and that the print is oriented in the right direction. So I would definitely triple check. My opening is here and I can read the word tumblers through that paper. So everything is oriented correctly. After I add this to the press, I will be adding a piece of protective paper over the top. Now you do want to set your heat press temperature as well as the pressure. And I would do that before you add your sublimation print. So go ahead and put your blank in your heat press and set that pressure. You want about a medium pressure, and I'm gonna press these at 400 degrees for 50 seconds. All right, so that is the front. And now for the top, I actually don't want the word tumblers on here. I just sort of want a decoration on the top. So I'm actually gonna cut this away. Now you can tear these definitely, but the sublinen I find is very forgiving as far as press marks because it has like this linen texture. So now you could orient these straight, you could put them crooked, however you would like to do this. I could even cut these apart and just sort of place them randomly around, making a little bit of a design on the top. So then I'll just tape each of these into place as well. And again, I will be adding protective paper over the top of this when I put it in the heat press. So first of all, I tried to use my traditional heat press with this one, and the heat press itself would not open up enough for this thick blank. Some heat presses might open up, but you might want to check that before you purchase or try to use this blank if you only have a traditional heat press. I then switched over to the auto press and tried to press this as well. I did 400 degrees for 55 seconds. The auto press worked well, except when pressing the front, I had some issues with the sides not pressing completely. And I tried several different things, including turning the blank as well as pressing part of the blank at a time. I got it pretty good, but be aware that with the auto press, you might not get a complete press. It may have some fading on the sides. You can keep your design away from the sides if you would like, or you can try a different pressing method. I will also note that I removed the pad from the auto press when pressing this blank. So finally, I am going to try my easy press with this one, and I have a firm heat resistant mat underneath here. I actually have two just so it looks better on screen, but it would work with just one of those. And then I have, of course, the sublimation print and my protective paper over the top. I am gonna use the 12 by 10 easy press so that it will cover all of this at one time. If you use the 9 by 9 and you made your print as large as I have here, you would need to press in different sections. Sometimes I get fading where the press overlaps, so I try to avoid that if at all possible. So here I could have made my design smaller if I only had the 9x9 easy press, or I could try to like section the design off and press just portions of it at a time. I have my easy press set to 400 degrees, and I'm actually going to add a little bit of time, and I'm going to press for 60 seconds with the easy press. Often with a manual handheld press, you need to add a little bit of time when pressing. Okay, so I'm just going to add my easy press down, and one benefit of this is that I can avoid these seams and things. And then I'm just going to press down about medium pressure for that full time. And what we're going to do is we're going to peek at this once it's done and make sure it pressed correctly. The benefit of using this handheld press is that I can press sections of this again if needed. So once its time is up, I'm just going to move that off. And then we're going to peek, especially on these sides. And it is very faded over here, as well as on this side. So I'm going to add that back, and I'm going to kind of press to one side and press down really hard for 30 to 45 seconds, and then switch to this other side, trying to get each of the sides a little bit better. I'm gonna switch after 30 seconds. All right, so it is better, but still not great. So I'm gonna continue on with this method and see how good I can get this. Basically just pressing several different times. Okay, after several presses, I think I got it looking okay. However, because I pressed that many times, I did get some ghosting, I feel like, on the sides. So this was with the easy press, and then this version was with the auto press, where I did not repress. So this is what happens if you just press once with the auto press. And then this version, I repressed a few times on the auto press, and I got it looking much better. I just had some fading on the very edges. So I think for these, I would pull the design in from the edges a little bit, make it a little bit smaller when you print, and I think you would have better luck. And the part I thought I was gonna have trouble with, which was the top, actually pressed great. So there is one version of the top, and there's a second version of the top. So they did really, really great. So the part I thought I would have issues with, I didn't. And the part I didn't think I would have issues with, I did. So now that all my pieces are done, again, I'll just need to assemble it. So I just open up this piece, add the black piece inside, push it all the way down into the bottom. And then once that's done, you just put the top on here, and you have a cute bin. And this, again, will fit in my cube organizer. All that's left is for you to drop your supplies inside and perhaps even add this to a cube organizer. All right, I shared a little bit of my results. I am the happiest with the tumblers version. It is faded a little bit on the sides, but not too bad. And like I said, I think I could just resize that, even just the font, just a little bit smaller, and I would avoid this edge and be fine. So for this one, I used the auto press, and I turned it 4 different times. So I pressed it once this way, and then while it was this way, I pressed just this side so that this part was in the center of the press, and then I pressed just this side where this side was in the center of the press, this edge. That worked the best with the Cricut Auto Press. I do think you could repeat that with something like the HTV Rot Auto Press. Again, something that will press a thicker blank is what you're gonna want here. So then for this one, I tried a variety of different things, and I showed you what the Easy Press did. And I think that this side was my Easy Press side. They really look very similar. One of the sides was with the auto press with just one press, where I didn't repress multiple times because I wanted to compare the two. And then the other side is with the Easy Press. So with the Easy Press, I really had to work, I had to lean on it, I had to press in different areas. So perhaps a Easy Press and press in several different areas. Again, I really think that it's going to come down to shrinking this design down and just doing a design sort of in the center especially if you have just the easy press. I feel like the center did great every single time. So with the easy press, I would probably do something in the center. Now for the lid, I didn't have any issues, which I was like, this lid is not gonna press. It's a box, it's not gonna work. And it worked absolutely fine. So the lid is sturdy enough to press in something like the auto press with it pressing down on it. The auto press did make sort of a ratcheting noise as it was pressing, but I just let it go, see what happens, and it worked fine. So do be aware of that if you do use an auto press for these, but I do think that the lids would work fine with the easy press as well. Again, the lid, which I expected to be an issue, wasn't the issue. So for those fronts and backs, pay attention to your design, keep it away from the edges, and you might need to press multiple times, even though it's like a 400 degrees, 55 seconds on the instructions. Keep in mind that you might need to move it around and press several different times to get the best sublimation image on the front. However, these are very, very fun and a great way to personalize your craft room. So if you're looking to organize your craft room, I think these are really great. Other areas of your home, probably great as well. You would probably put something different over here. You might not put what it is. You might not put letters. You might just put something that goes with your home's decor, like a flower on the front or something like that. Instead, you can put anything on these. So personalizing organization bins with sublimation. I mean, let's get organized in 2026. So thank y'all so much for joining me for this one. Now to purchase these organization bins, the organization bins that I used are from Johnson's Plastics Plus, and I will link to those in the description below this video. I did not try any other organization bins. The problem with most of the bins that you purchase for those cube organizers, they might say they're polyester, but they're gonna be that type of polyester that melts under the heat. This sublinen exterior on this is what makes this possible. So be cautious. If you are going to purchase other organization bins and give this a try, use lots of paper just in case that the fabric melts so you don't ruin your heat press. If you order these sublinen versions from Johnson's Plastics Plus, you don't have to worry about that. So keep that in mind always. So now, if you have any questions about the pressing methods or methods I use to sublimate these, drop it in the comment section. Feel free to ask away. If you purchase these particular bins and you come up with some other great pressing method that works all the way to the edge, I mean, drop me a comment because I tried all kinds of things, even off camera. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, as well as head on over to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.